All right, you guys ready for a math puzzle? This is going to be great. Okay, we're back in Collaborate. So I'm going here, and if it's my turn to be in charge of the math puzzle, I'm going to go over and collect the worksheets. Here's what the math worksheet looks like. It's a little different than some of the other ones. I just want to go over it with you. Oh, it's right here. 3-act math recording worksheet. So everyone will write their name at the top and their date, and then they'll gather around and we're going to watch a video together. Okay, so you as the person who gets to choose, whoever's the leader, will go down and choose one that they want to do. So there's all these different choices, the water boy, paper cut, and there's a little question here, like how many whoppers are inside the jar, how many blue squares to cover the yellow square. You don't know a lot about what these are, that's okay. You just choose one that looks kind of interesting to you. I chose knotty rope, which is how many knots will fit on the rope. So I'm going to go over here. Here's my knotty rope. And there's a video that we'll start with as a class. It's a 30-second video. And this is going to show us kind of something that has to do with math. It's not always obvious right away what this is even doing. So you can see the guy's tying a knot in the rope. Cool. That was it. Oh, wait, nope, that's not it. He's tying another knot in the rope. Oh, interesting. 2 knots. Is he going to do another one? Let's see. Yeah, 3 knots. Okay, so at the end of that video, we stop there, and everybody goes to their paper, and you say, what did you notice about that? So I could write something like, well, a guy was tying knots in a rope. He tied 3 knots in a rope. And you could think a little closely like, well, it looked like he used up some of the rope by tying knots in it because there's less actual rope left. Right? And then I could start thinking, well, I wonder how many knots would fit. Like, how much does each knot take anyway? Or maybe I wonder why you would need a rope with tons of knots in it. It's fine to write whatever you want here. There's not a wrong answer. But what we're trying to do is get to a main question. And so everyone in the class together should decide what the main question is. And if you need help with this, on the 3-act math site, and your guide will know where this is, they put the question here for you. You can see down here at the bottom, how many knots will fit on the rope? It says estimate, and part of estimating is to come up with a guess. I think 30 knots will fit on that rope. I'm just throwing out a number. I know that 3 is too low because I could already see him do 3, right? So maybe I think 5 is too low because it wouldn't take that much more rope to do that. But high estimate, like there's no way 200 knots fits on that rope. So I could write something big like 200 in the high estimate and 5 in the low estimate. And then I would say my actual guess is 30. I think 30. But I'm still just guessing, right? So once that's done, and we're going to spend some time talking about this, you don't have to be in a hurry on this. The math puzzle altogether is just solving one thing, but spending a lot of time on it. So we all really understand it. We want to discuss with each other so that we can understand. So maybe I would say, first, let's fill this out ourselves and kind of write it down. And then let's stop and actually share with each other, talk about what we noticed and what we wonder, and write down what the main question is. And then our estimates, we can talk about why we made our estimates like we did. Don't think this is a race to get to an answer, because it's not. It's just about the process of figuring this out together. Okay, so going back here now, that was Act 1, where we kind of look at it, think about it, and come up with an estimate. Act 2 is about additional information. So you can see down here on the worksheet, there's this thing that says, what information would you like to know? And at this point, I'm starting to think, how would I figure out the answer to this main question, which is how many knots will fit in the rope? So I could go down here and draw a picture of the rope, for example. And then I could say, well, it seems like, maybe he takes this much for each knot. So I could try to divide the rope into small sections and guess that way, and then just count like, okay, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4. You could come up with that would be one way to figure this out. But there's probably other ways that you've thought of that you'd be able to do. So don't feel like there's a right answer here, but write down everything that you would like to know to be able to solve this problem, like how many knots will fit. And then what's cool is Act 2 will give you some of this extra information. So as you get to this point and you've thought about this a little bit, your guide can click on these and put up in front of the class. If you have like a TV or projector, you can see that the whole rope they measured. And so they've got this tape measure and it goes all the way up. It looks like 44 inches long. Okay, 44 inches. So that's useful. In fact, that's the length of the rope with no knots, 44 inches. But now let's go back here and say, what is the length of the rope with one knot in it? So after one knot was tied down there, then now there's 40 inches. So how much was used up by one knot is the question, right? And you can figure that out. Well, it's 44, and now it's 40. And so 44 minus 40, it took 4 inches of rope to make one knot. And then you can do some thinking, okay, well then what would it take? How many knots should I be able to do in the whole rope, right? And you can then go through and figure it out. I'm gonna be on the back of my paper. So remember this worksheet. There's this whole back side that says show your work, and I've got my picture and I've divided it up. Now I can start to put some numbers to this. 44 is the whole thing, 4 is each one, and I'm starting to think. You wanna spend a lot of time thinking about this, and don't go too quickly to ask your friends or ask the guide. Try to figure it out yourself, because this is your opportunity to really think about it. This is not a race to get an answer correctly. Okay, and then once you feel like you've got it, you've talked to your neighbor and you spend some time discussing, well, this is the way I'm thinking about solving this problem. This is what I'm coming up with. And when you get ready, you put an answer here. This is what I think it is. And the fun part about these at the end, once you've done all that work, you get to watch this Act 3, and this is a 44-second video where they'll actually show you how many knots fit in the video. So you can see knots, and then he tied one, and then he'll tie another one, and I'm gonna skip ahead. But I'm not gonna tell you how many altogether, because I want you guys to do this video yourself. So that's it for now. Remember at the end, so once everybody's done their puzzle and you guys have figured it out, go into coins.prenda.co, collaborate, math puzzle, not the rope. And I didn't lead that discussion. And then this is a self-evaluation. So if I think I was really engaged and trying my hardest, rating yourself not on your math skills, rating yourself on your effort here. If I was just kind of in the back, sort of hoping someone else would figure it out and just kind of following along barely, or twirling my pencil around on my finger, that might be a 1 or a 2. But if I'm like right up there thinking about it, I'm adding things to the class, then I can evaluate myself a 10, and then that means I get the full coins. So if I love that activity, I would rate it 5 stars, and then I go, here I go, I get 100 because I did my best work participating. Okay, that's it for math puzzles. I hope you guys have a great time with them. I really enjoy these. Oftentimes in my class, they end up with like cheering and high-fiving, and everybody's like hugging each other because we're so happy that we figured out this puzzle. After you work on something for so long, it's really fun to be able to solve them. So I hope it's just as much fun for you, and good luck with it. All right, see ya.